Welcome everyone. What we're watching, we are back, episode 36.
Woo.
They said it couldn't be done, TJ,
They said it couldn't.
but here we are.
That's all they said that it could. But clearly, here we are, man. 36 episodes, bro. That's a lot.
We
I don't care
are
what anybody said. That's a lot.
we're creeping into the area pretty soon. The show's gonna have more episodes than we have years on Earth.
Big time facts. Like I'm ready for us to get to every show wants to hit that 100 episodes because that's when you
Sure.
get syndication.
That's when we get that syndicated money.
That's when you get that syndicated. So that's what we're going for, man. The drive for 100. All right.
100 episodes, 100 subscribers. We all love the hundreds. 100
Hundreds, it's a round number. It's round and it's easy to add in hundreds.
It is 100 plus 100 is 200.
Yes, I would like 200 of those dollars, good sir.
You would see, I know you would never turn down $200. So say, here's $200. You would never slap the hand like, get that 200 out of my face.
I'll take anybody money if they're giving it away. That right there, that line comes from The Wire. And that right there is a show that we definitely need to watch now. I'll take anybody money if they're giving it away. That was coming from a state senator.
I get it. Maybe I shouldn't, but I understand it. I should say I understand it. Maybe I don't get it because nobody's clearly giving me any money.
Well, when you're talking about a state senator and the reference of the show, it's a great show to watch. So fans, if you haven't watched it yet, don't wait until we do, and then you can watch it along with us. But Senator Clay Davis, amazing character, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy this show, and I hope you all enjoy it as well. It's like when you're watching these things, the character work that goes into it. Like all these different shows that we've watched from The Sopranos to the Die Hards to now getting into the MCU and what we're discussing today being Community, all the characters, it just shows the diversity and all that stuff. It's great work. So I'm glad to be on this journey with you, Joey.
We are recording this it is Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
It is Thanksgiving week. Now, let's say that you get your perfect Thanksgiving plate. You're all alone, but you got your day is stretched out before you and you have nothing on there. What is like that one thing you're like, all right, I'm going to put this on and I'm just going to lose myself in the story. So, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. What would you put on?
All right. First off, y'all saw what I was just drinking. Cut the check. There's so many. It used to be The Office. You know this about me, Joe. It used to be The Office. That's one of those I could just throw on. I've gone through phases because at one point in time it was Sons of Anarchy. Then you're talking Superstore, Sunny in Philadelphia. Right now, I think it's Quick Draw, which is a show that I don't know if you and I've talked too much about. It's on Hulu. It's from the creators of 10 Items or Less.
Okay.
It's set in the Wild Wild West, in a town called Great Bend, and their sheriff went to Harvard.
Okay.
And it's that humor of someone being very pretentious and having gone to Harvard, but he's in the Wild Wild West. It's actually really, really funny. But I can throw that one on while I'm playing video games, while I'm cleaning up, while I'm doing whatever, and just completely be gone, but still know what's going on enough to where I'm laughing with the story.
Nice.
How about yourself, man?
For me lately, I'll be honest with you, I've been into a lot of like documentaries, but I'm always about the documentary that follows someone around. It's like about one person or a couple of people and it kind of follows them around and stuff. I'm not one of those, ooh, let's look at this murder documentary about who killed so and so 30 years ago to calm ourselves and go to sleep. No, that's not me. That is
I
not
do
me.
like I like some true crime. I
Mhm.
just have a hard time watching true crime right before I go to sleep.
Right.
So it's like if I'm you and I like to have something on the TV while I'm sleeping. That's King of the Hill all day long because
Right.
it's upbeat. I can't listen to some dramatic music and some deep voice narrator and she came into the kitchen and he had a knife. I don't want to sleep to that.
Right.
No.
But it could be like he was slowly chopping onions, and she said, "When is the soup going to be done?"
Right. But it's all in those true crimes are usually cut the same way. Dark, ominous music, deep voice narration, and they're talking about the simplest of things. They're describing a birthday party,
Right.
but it sounds like a murder scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Timmy didn't know which birthday present that Jamie had brought him. But when he found out what was inside that box, their lives would be changed
That's
forever.
it.
And you're like, "What's in the box?" I feel like I'm watching Seven. What's in the box?
What's in the box? It's her head. It's Gwyneth's head. That's awesome. Oh, that's it.
But lately, like on Max, there's a really, really good James Carville documentary. It just came out like last week, and they filmed it over the last year and a half, and it ends like 3 weeks ago. Like the last minute and a half is everything that happened since Election Day and all of that.
Oh.
Now, like they're doing it as the credits are coming up and all of that. But I'm like, oh, that, I found that intriguing. Plus, there's like an 8-part documentary on Ted Turner called Call Me Ted, which is fascinating. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes into that. And TJ, they set it up like a drama and all of that with a cliffhanger every episode. And he had bought a TV station in Charlotte. And they're like, if you don't pay us $25,000 by Monday, we're going to take all your equipment and you're off the air. And it's like, and we didn't know what we were going to do. Boom. That's the end of episode 1. Episode 2, they're about to launch CNN, and they've got a slot on the new satellite going up that's going to beam to all of these places so they can get picked up on cable at CNN. And it's like 3 months before the launch of CNN, the satellite blew up, and now we don't have any distribution. Boom, that's how you end episode 2. And it's like, I'm over there, I'm like, I gotta pop some popcorn. This is like more than 24,
So it's essentially like, clearly you know what happens.
Right.
It's Ted freaking Turner.
Like you can turn on the TV and watch CNN. You can meet CNN.com. Clearly they made it, but I'm like, what they gonna do? The satellite blew up.
I get it. That's what. Look, bro. I think that's why I got so into Tiger King.
Right.
I mean, it's happening during my lifetime. Right. Like I'm over here dealing with whatever problems or whatever I got going on elsewhere in the world.
Right.
Joe Exotic is doing his thing. So it's like
and people are walking through. Somebody gets bit, and he's like, I'm never going to recover from this financially. People are trying to shut me down. And like, they let you get 3 episodes or so into it. And he's like, I don't know why they all coming to me. Carol Baskin killed her first husband. And it's like everything stopped. And I even put on Facebook, I said, Carol killed her husband, didn't she? And everybody, like people I hadn't talked to for like 5 years, they're like, she certainly did. My mother's like, I think she did too. My parents don't have Facebook. They don't have Netflix, rather. My parents don't have Netflix. But I had been talking to her about it. She's like, I looked more into it. She killed her first husband. I don't know where he's at, but he ain't alive.
The thing that gets me, bro, is when and look, I know, folks, me and Joey get started, and I apologize. But just particularly to Carrie, but I forgot, the internet had just really, really gotten a hold of us. in 2005, 2006. Like you're really into it, watching videos on MySpace. I didn't remember the video. I saw the Carol Baskin video. I thought it was hilarious, the music video that Joe Exotic made about it, right? But again, I was so enthralled, just like you being into the Ted Turners, like you weren't there. So the fact that you know what happens doesn't matter because they're editing it together great.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure somebody could put together a series on the Titanic and leave it with cliffhangers. And we know what's coming, but how you tell the story matters.
It's like a 6-episode drama, right? If episode at the end of episode 5, if it's not, what the heck did we just do? That's money. That's money left on the table, my friend. That is money left on the table.
If I'm behind that show, we not seeing that iceberg until at least season 3. I'm trying to keep this thing. We got a lot of flashbacks to film. I'm not trying to hit this glacier for a while. And then all of season 4 is glacier. We are sinking for a long time.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like season 3, right? The end of season 3, everybody's, they're having a good time. Some reason there's like a dance party going on there, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine it's just like The Sopranos, just cuts to black and you hear somebody's voice. What was that?
And then come back for season 4 to find out what that was. See? Cut that check.
And Denzel Washington as the iceberg.
Because he's only doing like 2 or 3 more roles before he hangs it up. So this is going to be that one that gets it. That's the last one. Denzel Washington as the iceberg. Yes.
Get women and children in the lifeboat. Wrong. Did that iceberg roar at us?
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Margaret, who is King Kong?
That was a horrible Denzel impression. I apologize to Denzel.
On all you wrote. That's Denzel's people right now. He wants to talk.
Oh man. Gotta see Gladiator. Heard he did really well in that.
I've heard good things too. So real quick, and then we'll pivot to Community.
Pivot.
What do you think about these things? Like they had Barbieheimer or Oppenbarbie or whatever you called it, last year. Now you got Glicked. That's Gladiator and Wicked combo. What do you think about that?
I mean, creativity is never wrong. I'm never gonna crap on creativity. You take 2 of the most popular movies. I guess ultimately I would want to be one half of the mashup. We've been mashing up since Glee. Glee got us mashing up hard, man.
That's right. I thought they might have gone too far with the mix up between like Barbie and Oppenheimer and stuff. As long as it's not like the Smurfs and Schindler's List.
Right. First off,
la 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 la.
In the red coat. And then it just shuts everything down, man. That was the saddest freaking.
Yeah, it'll be like red pants and a little blue person going by.
What I think that's red pants. That's Papa Smurf.
That is Papa Smurf.
The only one. That's the only one wearing red. Papa Smurf red is going to be in the pile at the end of the movie. Yep. I'm sad. I'm so sad. Oh God, we just took out Papa.
And look, twist right next to him. You'll see the dark black of Gargamel. Gargamel's Jewish. They got them both. And you see a black and white Smurfette, and there's like one tear. One tear. I got him.
He got me. Oh, got me. Good job, sir.
So we're going back to Community Season 1.
We are.
Episode 12. So we're halfway through, basically. This is the last episode of 2009. So we're in December.
Trying to set a foundation.
Yes. Yeah.
Comparative
Religion is the 12th episode of the first season of Community. They aired in the United States on NBC on December 10th, 2009. Shirley plans a Christmas party for the study group, hoping to celebrate in her Christian ways, but learn everyone else is from a different religious background. Annie is Jewish, Abed is Muslim, Troy is a Jehovah's Witness, Britta is an atheist, Pierce is in a cult, but believes that it's a Buddhist community. I didn't know I'd have that much trouble saying that, but while Jeff is agnostic. Meanwhile, Jeff stands up to a bully named Mike that harasses Abed in the cafeteria. What is up with Mike's like wardrobe? And he's like,
he's always he's perpetually going to the gym. He's always working out. That's it.
They agree to meet in a parking lot to fight. Shirley refuses to support Jeff because she is against violence, while the group helps Jeff get ready to fight Mike. Shirley tells Jeff that if he participates in the fight, he cannot come to her Christmas party.
I like how they did this, because while Christianity is the dominant religion in the United States, and that is being represented by Shirley, seeing how, Annie brings the menorah, hands it over, Shirley just tucks it in the tree, because she doesn't know, and even then, Troy, you're kind of a Christian, right? It's just that's how people process some religions, right? But it seems like Shirley, Christianity it seems like she was the most closed off.
Right. And you run across those very people.
Good facts.
During the party, the group all decide to leave to support Jeff at the fight, and eventually even Shirley leaves to support Jeff. They all come to Jeff's defense when they fight Mike and his friends on the college campus. After they finish the fight bloodied and bruised but triumphant, the group celebrates the holidays and learn that they all passed their Spanish final, meaning that they'll all move on to Spanish 102.
And the B story on this episode was that Jeff had never been in a fight before.
Right.
So he's getting coached up by Pierce and Troy, and again, comedy ensues because Pierce's ignorance is always hilarious. And Jeff finally got punched in the face by Pierce.
Do you run across those type of people a lot that have never been in a fight?
It happens more often than you would think. Like I thought that everybody got into fights, because I got into several fights up until I had my little come to Jesus in like the 7th grade. I was a fighter. But there are a lot of people that never throw hands.
I feel like it changes you once you get into a fight. Not necessarily become a fighter. Once you get into a fight.
Once you've had to defend yourself physically, whether you win or lose, it affects you differently, because if you win, you're like, I can win a fight. I can defend myself. And if you lose, you're always wondering, can I defend myself?
In the end tag, Abed piles Christmas decorations on Troy while singing Old Christmas Tree with the lyrics Old Christmas Troy.
Christmas Troy.
Jeff walks in and asks why they do things like this, to which Troy replies that it's fun, and Jeff helps decorate him. Around 5.5 million Americans watched Comparative Religion. Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club rated the episode A, calling it one of my favorite episodes of the show so far. I love Shirley's version of Silent Night.
Yes. Very. I like her voice. Yvette Nicole Brown, to me, really came out in this show, because she had been doing stuff for a while.
Yes.
She was on Nickelodeon back in the day. To a lot of people don't remember, like with and I guess it's problematic to mention it now, but Drake and Josh and all those shows, like she
Right.
was always that background adult.
Right.
So for her now to get her opportunity to really show her chops, it's really great to see her blossoming in this show.
I just saw her 2 weeks ago. She was on an episode of the newest season of the rebooted Frasier. One of the supporting characters, she plays her sister coming in.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we move on to investigative journalism. It's the 13th episode of the first season. It aired in the United States on January the 14th, 2010. The group returns from their winter break and finds that a new student named Buddy has inserted himself into the study group. Buddy proves to be a burden to the group, accidentally kicking Jeff in the nose, making abrupt comments when they try to study, and overall messing with the flow of the group. Eventually, the group decides Buddy must leave the group.
Buddy must leave the group.
When the group tells this to Buddy, he refuses to leave, and Jeff drags him off outside. Buddy's pants being ripped in the process. Eventually, Jeff decides that he thinks Buddy should be allowed to join the group if he pleases, and the group changes their minds' votes to allow Buddy to join. After telling Buddy, he reveals that they were his safety study group. And he joins another study group led by Owen Wilson.
And Starburns.
Which he claims to be cooler. Meanwhile, Dean Pelton makes Jeff the new editor of the Greendale Gazette Journal-Mirror, where Annie discovers a story about Dean Pelton's racial profiling in the school. Jeff tries to convince a resistant Annie to drop the story, although she ends up abandoning it, realizing how trivial it actually is. In the end tag, Troy and Abed are interviewed by Starburns for possible membership of the Cool Group. Pierce shows up and berates them for their disloyalty. After they walk away, Pierce asks if the group has decided on his own membership, which Starburns declines.
Getting rid of Britta, getting rid of the B, to the GDB. Starburns like, what's this song? Sing the song again. Donde esta la biblioteca? We'll let you know. We'll let you know. Like I like that how they start this season off with letting us know that there are other characters there that aren't getting the shine. So they show these cutback scenes from Buddy, aka Jack Black's perspective.
Right.
So you see the episode where Jeff and Pierce were partners, and Senor Chang says F, and Pierce says S, and Jack Black says, he said F. Like, no, Britta cheated. Like he was there for all of
the
it.
Whole time.
The whole time. And apparently so was Owen Wilson. And also Asian lady. So it's like they really do have everybody covered in Greendale. So but our study group is the most diverse, Hispanics withstanding. You'll hear that line later.
Every time, though, Starburns comes up or is involved, I'm thinking of my name is Alex.
That episode where he's crying, my name is Alex. Try carving that into your face.
Abed compares Jeff to the MASH character Hawkeye Pierce and himself to the character Radar. The episode also parodies that show's ending credits, including the same tune. Yeah, there's also, like you mentioned, flashback to previous episodes such as Advanced Criminal Law are shown, but just from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Around 5.42 million Americans watched investigative journalism. Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club rated the episode A-, saying that it was yet another really great episode and a very consistent run on the show that the show's been on lately. So then we go to interpretive dance.
Yeah.
It's the 14th episode of the first season. It aired in the United States on January the 21st, 2010. It focuses on secrets that members of the study group are keeping from each other. The study group discusses moving their meeting time to avoid issues with the back door of the library being locked after 5 p.m. But both Troy and Britta say they have a commitment that precludes meeting earlier. When Jeff arrives, Britta notices numerous similar long hairs on his coat, revealing that Jeff has been seeing the same woman more than once, counter to Jeff's usual one-night stands. Jeff remains quiet on the identity of this woman. The woman Jeff has been seeing is revealed to be Professor Michelle Slater. While fraternizing in her office, they are nearly caught in the act by Dean Pelton, but are able to play him off. Jeff later introduces Michelle to the study group, but asks them to keep his relationship a secret, which is already too late, as Pierce has sent out a tweet about it.
So messed up. So messed up.
He had that one like locked and loaded.
Locked and ready to go. That tweet did not require much. Like, as soon as Jeff said it, you see him grab his phone and put his phone back down, shrugging it off. Like, that dude was ready.
It was in the drafts folder. He's like, oh, number 3, boom.
Ready to go. And I like how you say number 3, because apparently Professor Seven is number 7 and Jeff is number 2. Who does Pelton rank higher than Jeff? Professor Seven and number 2. Who is number 1?
Interesting.
Yes, that's a question I have. Now, I probably will never get it, but I have that question.
One of the men in the Dalmatian costume.
Gotta be.
That's for later on. Pelton calls them into his office and makes them sign a form regarding their fraternization. However, when it comes to describe their relationship, Jeff is hesitant to call Michelle his girlfriend, leaving Michelle bitter. Jeff goes to see Michelle in her office, apologizing as he is afraid of commitment. When he promises to consider their relationship more than just boyfriend and girlfriend, Michelle accepts the apology and locks her office to allow them privacy. Meanwhile, Troy and Britta have discovered that they are in 2 different dance classes. Troy in modern dance, while Britta is following her dream to learn tap dance. Both classes are scheduled to have a recital soon. Britta is excited to be able to invite the study group, but Troy remains quiet. Rather than reveal his secret, Troy opts to quit his dance class, leaving Britta disappointed, although Shirley believes that Britta is disappointed over Jeff's new romance. The dance recital begins with a large audience, including Jeff and Michelle. Britta's routine with her classmates is a simple routine set to the melody of Tea for Two, with her posing as a watering can watering flowers. Her fellow dancers. You okay?
I'm just seeing her doing it.
When Britta sees Jeff holding Michelle's hand in the audience, she freezes up. Troy, walking by, sees Britta's predicament and races in, tearing off his clothes, revealing a dance unitard. He takes the stage and helps to finish Britta's routine, and then begins an improvised modern dance with her, leaving the audience in trance. After the performance, Britta thanks Troy for his help, though Troy admits it was the only masculine option for him. Jeff gives Britta flowers for her performance, while she congratulates Jeff on being mature enough to have a girlfriend relationship. Interpretive Dance was the second episode directed by Justin Lin and the second written by Lauren Pomerantz. It was the second of 5 episodes in which Lauren Stamil appears as Professor Michelle Slater. Around 4.73 million viewers watched Interpretive Dance. Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club rated the episode B, calling it pretty good, but wishing that the entire cast was together more rather than focusing on individual storylines. She also suggested that the dance scene that concludes the episode was unoriginal. TV fanatics Matt Richenthal enjoyed the show and speculated as to whether Jeff's growing maturity would make him more or less funny, and whether he and Britta would end up in a relationship. Romantic expressionism is the 15th.
1 second, brother.
Yes.
Before we leave it, can we hop back? Can we bring back the interpretive dance? There we go. So this episode is full of great scenes, and 3 that I just wanted to really point out real quickly. When Pelton is talking to Jeff and Slater, and he starts the conversation off, so how long have you been doing it? And Jeff's like, you can't ask that. And he was like, oh, no. I'm talking about this thing, talking about the relationship. And then they announced it. He's like, so how long have you been doing it? And Jeff's like, it doesn't say that. And he shows him the paper, and clearly it does. I'm like, that right there is so funny. And then also, once we get to the dance recital, and like I said, I started laughing because I started visualizing, Britta doing the dance, which was hilarious. But when Troy comes out there and saves her, Pierce, who I am not going to give him a whole lot of credit for his ignorance, but says they'll never accept it, but this is theatrical gold. And I was like, He's right. That was perfect timing, man. But so, yeah. That one has some great one-liners in it, man.
We'll get to it later on as we eventually will cover it. But that was one of the reasons that Chevy Chase eventually ended up off the show. He's like, you got to have this guy learn something. He's got to evolve. He can't keep being this guy.
No, he's the constant.
Right.
He's the constant, and for better or for worse, he's the constant. But he's capable of doing good,
right?
But it's always going to be on his terms,
right?
And there are people like that. I mean, I get why Chevy wants to have an arc, but I also, he always hit. He always hit. Like his words would always cut through, because there is the minutia of the will they, won't they stuff, and all this, meta stuff coming from Abed. So Pierce's baby boomer racism, like all that, just always cuts through. His lines always land.
But I think you could have done it if you look at Pierce. So we talked about the Titanic earlier. Let's say that Pierce is the Titanic, and you see the iceberg coming. So you can do the arc, because it's not going to turn on a dime. You can't switch it. Like, have him be in degrees. Like, I thought that was okay. Is that not okay now? And he could, But I was not in that situation. So.
Okay.
All right. Romantic expressionism. It's the 15th episode of the first season of Community. It originally aired on February the 4th, 2010. In the episode, Jeff and Britta try to break up Annie's budding romance with Vaughn, whom Britta previously dated. However, the plan fails and results in hurt feeling. Meanwhile, Pierce tries very hard to prove that he has a sense of humor. Episode was written by Andrew Guest and directed by Joe Russo. Jeff and Britta are concerned about Annie's budding relationship with Vaughn. Annie asks for Britta's blessing to date Vaughn, Britta's ex, which she receives. Despite this, Britta and Jeff, assuming the roles of Annie's parental figures, decide to get Troy, Annie's previous crush, interested in her in order to prevent her from developing relationships with creepier men. The plan fails miserably, leaving Annie, Troy, and Vaughn all upset.
All upset.
Meanwhile, Abed invites Troy, Shirley, and Senior Chang to his dorm to watch and make fun of Kick Puncher. However, they are reluctant to invite Pierce due to his peculiar sense of humor, but he decides to go anyway. And that is awkward.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
At the viewing party, Troy, Abed, Shirley, and Chang all crack jokes at the film, which are appreciated by the rest, but Pierce can only come up with lame and racist zingers. Abed invites the party back to watch the sequel the next night.
Kick Puncher 2.
Isn't it like Punch Kicker?
Punch kicker. Yes.
Kick puncher 2, punch kicker.
Punch kicker.
To avoid rejection again, Pierce holds a meeting with the comedy sketch troupe to prepare jokes for the upcoming viewing. During the viewing, Pierce easily turns out jokes, but it is apparent to the rest that his jokes were pre-planned. Pierce then reveals his frustration at not being seen as funny by the group. As he exits the room, he trips and falls, finally drawing laughter from the rest of the party.
Biggest laugh of the night.
That's right. Yeah, that's when you got to leave. You got to leave on the high, right?
That's it. Call that a blackout. But no, I mean, whenever you, and I think we've all been there at some point, wanted to get together with our friends, our hip friends, and you didn't want to invite the older person. I'm now the older person, so it's like I totally get what it is. But when you come into the, I knew it was going to be something when Pierce says, I can make monkey shines at the movie. And I'm like, they don't know what monkey shines is. I even had to look it up. And if you've never looked it up before, I encourage you to. You know, I mean, it's just like, I didn't know what the term meant, but I know now.
The next day at the study room, Jeff and Britta apologize to Annie and accept that she is an adult who can handle her own relationships. The conversation then turns heated as each member of the group reveals their interest in and jealousies of the other members in their relationships. They realize the fact that they, unlike a real family, all have the potential to see each other as romantic and sexual prospects.
You're not my mom, Britta. My mom would not wear those boots. That's like the most hurtful thing she could. My mom would never wear those boots.
Vaughn then emerges outside the library and plays a song for Annie. With Britta's genuine approval this time, Annie gladly reunites with him.
And Annie's song. And that's how it ends, right?
Yeah.
He's genuine.
Romantic Expressionism was written by Andrew Guest, his second writing credit of the series. It was directed by Joe Russo, his seventh directing credit. The fictional movie Kick Puncher is a parody of the 1980 sci-fi action films trying and failing to emulate the success of RoboCop. The practice of poking fun at movies while watching them was made popular in the television series Mystery Science Theater 3000. While Pierce is preparing jokes with the sketch comedy troupe, he demands, I need Phyllis Diller grade stuff. Vaughn referred to Shirley as that Sherry Shepherd lady.
Yeah.
Abed compared the group's dynamic to the 1970s sitcom The Brady Bunch. All right, then we go to communication studies. It's the 16th episode of the first season, originally aired on February 11th, 2010. In the episode on Abed's advice, Jeff tries to help Britta regain the confidence in their relationship after an embarrassing drunk dial by her. Meanwhile, Annie and Shirley's plan to take a revenge on Chang for humiliating Troy and Pierce backfires. The episode is also notable for beginning the series' Beetlejuice gag.
Yes.
In a character uttering Beetlejuice, a name next uttered in cooperation calligraphy, and again for the final time in horror fiction in 7 Spooky Steps, leading to Beetlejuice himself walking by as in the Beetlejuice franchise, wherein the man would enter the scene on his name's thrice utterances. The episode was written by Chris McKenna and directed by Adam Davidson. It received mostly positive critical reviews. Jeff is invited to Greendale College's Valentine's Day dance by his girlfriend and statistics professor, Michelle. On the way to the library, he discovers a voicemail from a drunk Britta from the previous night. At the library, Annie, Shirley, and Abed receive Valentine's Day gifts, but Troy and Pierce do not. Jeff plays a hungover Britta the message she left him, mocking the implication of the booty call, leaving her humiliated. After Jeff and the group notice over the following amount of time that Britta has been left too embarrassed to talk to him as a result of the booty call, Abed explains that in accordance with the rule of character dynamics in sitcoms like theirs, due to the interruption of Jeff and Britta's sexual tension imbued storyline, the only way the two can go back to their old mutually competitive relationship is for her to see him embarrass himself.
Like in Who's the Boss?
They decide that Jeff must return Britta's drunk booty call with a fake drunk one of his own. Jeff and Abed spend the evening getting drunk enough for Jeff to make a believable call. The next day, they discover that Jeff made calls to both Michelle and Britta, but don't remember anything about either of them. At Spanish class, the Greendale human being delivers Valentine gifts to Troy and Pierce. He is creepy this episode. Not that he's normally creepy, but with the wings and all that.
He really is.
Senor Chang guesses right away that the presents were sent by themselves to make it look like they have girlfriends. Chang ridicules them in front of the class. Later, Annie and Shirley devise a plan to prank Chang in revenge. The next day in class, Chang receives a letter purportedly from Princeton offering him an associate professor position. He instantly calls the bluff and blames Troy and Pierce for the failed prank. In retribution, he forces them to escort him to the Valentine's dance wearing ladies' pantsuits and threatens to fail them if they refuse.
Oh,
at the dance, Michelle is angry at Jeff for drunk calling her and then hanging up after discovering she wasn't Britta. Jeff tries to come clean, but Michelle refuses to listen. Troy and Pierce are dressed up in pantsuits and ready to hit the dance floor, but are interrupted by Annie and Shirley. Annie and Shirley confess to sending the fake letter and have decided to tell Chang the truth so that they can suffer the consequences. However, Troy and Pierce are touched by their gesture and follow through with their embarrassing ordeal. Britta arrives dressed formally and tells Jeff that he invited her to the dance during his booty call. Jeff panics and confesses that his relationship with Michelle is likely to be over because of the voicemails. Britta then reveals that he didn't actually invite her and that she dressed up to test the legitimacy of his booty call. She then plays to Michelle the voicemail she received from Jeff, in which he confesses his love for Michelle, which leads to the couple's reconciliation. In the end tag, Pierce abandons Troy after the party to get frozen yogurt with Chang.
He's like, I could have drove you. I had my car, but Pierce wanted to ride tail end on the moped, man.
Communication Studies was written by Chris McKenna, his first writing credit of the series. It was directed by Adam Davidson, his second directing credit. Several songs can be heard in the episode. Are We Not Alone, performed by Carla DeVito from the soundtrack of The Breakfast Club during the drinking montage. Going Crazy by the Paparazzi Kids when Chang dances with Pierce and Troy. And If I Die Before You, performed by Ludwig Göransson while Britta and Jeff have their conversation at the dance. When Jeff first encounters Britta having a hangover, he asks, "Can I get you an alibi for Cobain's suicide?" The next day, Britta counters a hungover Jeff zinger. You look like you're about ready to marry Courtney Love.
See, the one spot where when Troy gets the Valentine's gift,
right,
and he's trying to give the reason as to give the explanations of who this is. Oh yeah, I've got this girlfriend. I met her in anatomy. She thought it was astrology. Ha, she's stupid, but whatever. Like, who says that? Again, props to Donald Glover. That was a great portrayal of Troy Barnes.
When describing the change in dynamic of Jeff and Britta's relationship, Abed uses an example from Who's the Boss, in which Tony sees Angela naked in the opening credits. Mm-hmm. When devising a plan to fix the relationship, Abed uses the example from the episode The One with the Boobies in Friends. Chandler sees Rachel naked and has to reciprocate by getting naked for Rachel. In the original American broadcast, Communication Studies was viewed by an estimated 5.15 million people with a Nielsen rating share of 2.37 in the 18 to 49 demographic. So they're continuing on pretty much
Pretty
even.
steadily.
Yeah, all around 5 million episode, 5 million viewers per episode.
5 and holding, man. I look, and I get it. I hate to say that I wasn't one of that 5 million, because I wasn't. But once I got on, which was afterwards, once I got on, I was on.
Right.
You know, but I feel like maybe if I was one of the 5 million, maybe there wouldn't have been so much talk about not getting continued.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, if we only had TJ from day one, it would still be going.
I think so. Season 6 wouldn't have happened the way that it did.
Right.
That's what we'll say. I say season 6 happened because NBC was no longer involved. I feel, but again, we'll get to that a little bit later.
Would they have had the gas leak?
I think the gas leak was inevitable. The gas leak was inevitable, man. Harmon was gonna leave, but I don't know that. Like I'm saying, I don't know that 6 would have been the same, but the season 4 would have still been there.
I'll say this: we're recording this on Thanksgiving week. That won't be the last time you hear the gas leak is inevitable this week.
Big time facts. Somebody check on Uncle Carl.
Told him not to have that second role. He doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen, man. He does not listen. Them and them deviled eggs are going to be the death of him.
And he knows he's lactose intolerant. But
Doesn't
you gotta
care.
have that whipped cream. Got to have that whipped cream on top of that pie.
Well, I mean, the worst part is that his wife keeps calling it lactose intelligence. That right there is the reason why he keeps on it. Maybe it's okay. You got that lactose intelligence.
I don't know why, but every time he has milk, he gets smarter.
He gets smarter. He says, I need to go to the bathroom. And you know what? He does.
Spends a lot of time in there thinking.
That's it. So inquisitive, that lactose intelligence.
What are we doing with our lives?
Having a lot of fun.
That's true.
Subscribe.
Over there. I never can get it right. Over there.
I'm pointing somewhere.
Oh, I thought you were doing your version of interpretive dance. You want me to bring that back up? I bring that back up. That's TJ's interpretive dance.
Always a good time, man.
Society will never accept you.
Society will never accept it, but it's theatrical gold.
Oh, so what's next, TJ? Tell us.
Ooh, buddy. So if my deductions are correct, and we just gave y'all a good little chunk of community, it sounds to me like it's time for us to meander back over to the MCU. But before we do, I know it's not possible. It's too late.
What's that?
I felt like we should get in a Thanksgiving episode before Thanksgiving, but it's impossible.
Ooh, what are we going to do? What would we think?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That movie deserves to be reviewed as one of the very few Thanksgiving movies that we have. I love it.
Okay. We will talk about that when we get off here.
I'm sorry.
I might be able to make it work. That's all I'm going to say. But our next scheduled episode is the MCU, and we're going to get a little green with this one. A little green with envy. As we're going to be looking at the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Frogman.
One of the lesser known MCU heroes, as you will.
Right. Frog.
Good old Froggy.
Good old Froggy. But yeah, we're getting some Ed Norton in the game.
A little Edward.
Little Edward Norton. Yeah. Little Liv Tyler. She was an elf.
That's true. That is true. Before Edward gets what is called the Terrence Howard
before he gets down. That's awesome. I love that. Doesn't happen often in the MCU, but when it happens, it's the Terrence Howard.
They need to team them up as a group, and it'll be like the Left Behinds.
Like really, like if they're not in Secret Wars, I'm again saying money left on the table.
Money left on the table. But
Like
TJ,
really, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now I was about to say, man, if you do, because there's been talks that they were going to do an Incredible Hulk solo film, and if you don't have Ed Norton's Hulk, Banner's Hulk, with Harrison Ford's Hulk, Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, you get all the Hulks.
All the Hulks.
All the Hulks in one place, hulking it out. Call it World War Hulk.
Uh-oh. A little World War Hulk action.
A little World War Hulk action with all the Hulks.
All of them. Every single one of them.
And for y'all who thinks I'm a sexist asshole who didn't want to know, She-Hulk's in there too.
Absolutely.
What's her name? Tatiana Mizrahi. I didn't want to say her name because I felt like I was going to butcher it. That's not her name. That is not her name. I just completely destroyed her name. But y'all know Tatiana Mizrahi, She-Hulk.
So as we drive this off the rails and over the cliff, TJ, go ahead and plug any and everything you got, my friend.
TJ Johnson, butchering names and saying words wrong since 1983. If you want to hear more from me, I'm telling everybody to petition the Joey Harris Show. I heard myself being mentioned on a recent episode, and it made me wonder why I wasn't there. That's always going to be what I'm wondering. Joey's not. It's like he's not allowed to do a show contractually. When we start getting papers down, I'm going to say contractually, you can't hear Joey's voice without hearing my voice as well. But then AI is going to come in and they're going to snub me out. They're going to loophole me out on that one. But no, Daddy's Little Girl is coming. Release date of June of next year. And You're It, I think, has a premiere in January. I just got a special screening of Has Anyone Seen Bill? And that was so dope. Talks about the homeless epidemic in the United States. It's an amazing film. So more stuff coming from me. Got another role here recently. So yeah, awesome stuff coming, man. But this is my meat and potatoes. Okay, this is my beef stew. This is where I come for that heart. When there's a little crisp in the air and you say, man, this is chilly weather.
Okay,
This right here is my chili. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Now, do you have like a good cracker in there, some corn muffins, or what's happening?
So for the record, since you want to ask me about it, we can get into it, baby.
Okay.
I'm fine either way. I'm fine with a good cornbread. If we're going the cornbread route with some chili beans, I want my cornbread to be a little spicy. But when I was raised, coming up, they called it Mexican cornbread. I've now learned that that's not culturally okay. So I'm going to say the cornbread with the jalapenos in it.
Okay.
But to those of y'all who grew up like I was, y'all know what Mexican cornbread is. I don't know is it okay to say that? I don't know if it's okay. And if you have to ask if it's okay, it's probably not okay. But I still like the cornbread.
Hey, I like the cornbread too. That's all I'm saying. But let me leave you with this one before we sign off, okay? Because you said something that triggered something into me. All right. Now we didn't have it a lot, but we did have it growing up. Chili. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just knew it as chili. All right.
Sure.
When I got with the woman who eventually became my first wife, all right, you get around her family, they're like, we're gonna have some chili beans for supper. Y'all come over, and I'm like, what they gonna have? Just the beans? Some chili beans. Now y'all come over at 6. We're gonna have chili beans. We're gonna have chili beans. And it's one of those things. Have you ever had those moments, TJ? Like, I gotta write this down. I gotta do some ciphering. You're right, too. They said we're gonna come at chili. How you spell chili? Like I was misspelling chili, but I knew what I meant, you know?
Right.
You ever have those moments like if you were to like, hey, we need that for official documentation, they're gonna look at it, but you know exactly what it says.
Big fact.
That was happening. I'm like, chill. And the woman who I was engaged to at the time would become my first wife. She's like, chili, chili beans. I said, I know chili.
No chili.
She's like, chili beans. I said, oh, we just, you put sometimes beans into chili, but you can have chili without beans.
Big facts. You can't have chili without beans.
It's like, like hot dog chili. You have it on hot dogs too, but
right.
chili. They said, that's what we said. Chili beans. I don't think you know. I don't think you know.
Because you can go to the food dog and find a can of chili beans.
Right.
Has no meat in it.
None.
It's just the beans. So when they say chili beans, that's what I thought that's what it was. I was like, oh, it's chili beans.
No
but
meat. They are making a full pot of chili, like the good stuff, but the beans are in it, so they call that chili beans. What they mean are we're having chili. That's what they mean. But they
call it chili beans.
Chili beans, yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, I know exactly what you're talking about at the grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to have like the light red, or either the dark red kidney beans, and they were just going to heat those up. And for some reason, they're not just saying, "Hey, y'all come over for some light red chili beans, kidney beans, rather. We're gonna have chili beans."
Chili beans. Put a little Thai chili on them beans.
I guess so. And I'm like,
can't ever go wrong with it, folks.
He's not going to be the only one with the gas leak at the end of the week. If we're all over eating the chili beans, right?
You said that, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is what we call a callback. At the very beginning, he said this won't be the last time you hear it. And dadgummit, he brought it back. He came through with the promise. That's why he's a professional. Joey Harris.
I don't know about that, but I try. I try my darndest.
I call it like I see it. I don't just go around throwing away compliments.
But
how I get down.
I have kept you for way too long, so I'm going to try to get through this so we can end it. Folks, what we're watching, subscribe. Hit the play button. You don't even have to listen. Just hit the play button. Go wash your windows. Just leave it playing. Comment at the bottom and say, these guys are awesome. That helps us being found in the algorithm, okay? That's got nothing to do with the former vice president who helped with the creation of the internet. That's Al Gore rhythm. That's when he dances, okay? Algorithm is something completely different, all right? That helps people find us. Our goal by the end of the year is 20 subscribers. Now, the last time that I looked, we were up to 12. We were up to 12 subscribers. So that means we need 8, if I can still do my ciphering correctly.
I got all my toes out.
8 subscribers by the end of the year. So you can help us with that. But as for me personally, new episodes of the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show every Thursday, wherever you get your fine podcast. New episodes of the Joey Harris Show every Sunday, wherever you get your fine podcast. And coming up, 3rd year in a row, Christmas Eve, it's the 2024 Joey Harris Show Christmas special.
Woo!
With that man right there.
TJ wants a gravy boat.
And Nan Feebig. So the 3 of
cut
us
the check.
Together, 1 year. They're going to cut each other's checks. I'm going to be left behind. So they're going to be having an island somewhere, and I'm just going to be sitting there, welcome back to what I'm watching.
Operation Duplex comes into play, ladies and gentlemen. Operation Townhouse. It's a thing.
It is a thing. But I made it simple for you. If there's a social media and I'm on it at the Joey Harris, they're going up, they're going down, they're renaming themselves. People are going from one to the other. I can't keep track of it, nor should you. But I'm at the Joey Harris. Joey Harris Comedy at gmail.com If you would like to email us, that's where you can get us. TJ, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch you all next time.
I've eaten potato salad 5 times in my life.